So today, I'm wearing my Windsor Spitfires hat, and we're going to talk about a Windsor Spitfires product and that of Jalen Chatfield. In my opinion, he was the most improved member of the team, and the impact he can make this upcoming season can be even bigger. So Jalen Chatfield is a late bloomer, but he has already brought a ton of assets to the Hurricanes. Technically, he's in his third season with the team, but this past season was the first one that he played full-time. I personally noticed how good this kid was well before he was with the Hurricanes. I remember catching highlights of the Utica Comets when he was playing for them when he was under contract with Vancouver, and I was like, this kid is pretty good. I'm surprised that he's not in the show yet, or at least, not getting looked at for it. He found sustained success with the Chicago Wolves, which were at the time the Hurricanes affiliate. And everything that I noticed about his game seems to have translated and amplified at the NHL level with the Hurricanes this past season. The first thing I noticed the most with Jalen Chatfield was how good his gap control is. Whereas someone like Jacob Slavin has a very technical gap control and times it very well, his gap control is like an optical illusion. Jalen Chatfield's gap control is more like having a freight train coming at you. He positions himself, he anticipates where the puck is going to be at and where the puck carrier is going to be at incredibly well, and through telegraphing his positioning, he then gaps up on them very quickly, and before they have a chance to really do anything with it, they're either forced to make an errant pass, a dump in, or he just outright denies entry. He also uses his really good gap control during zone defense. While Chatfield's skating overall is excellent, where I really think it is the most proficient is in his acceleration. And his acceleration also contributes to his ability to change direction and pivot very quick, which also helps with how good his gap control is. And while Chatfield is incredibly skilled, he's still a heart and soul guy too. He'll gladly sacrifice the body, he'll sell out, and he'll block shots. While positioned at the point in the offensive zone, he also makes incredibly well-timed pinches and is very rarely beaten and creates a lot of opportunities by holding the offensive blue line. Chatty has a lot of physicality, but he also has a lot of finesse. He has a very healthy mix of poke checking and body checking. He can either separate the puck from the person or the person from the puck. He does both of them almost equally well. Additionally, over the course of the season, Chatfield was starting to be looked at more in special team situations, particularly penalty killing, and his penalty killing has come a long way in my opinion. Although a lot of people see him as a bottom pair defenseman with the Hurricanes, being a bottom pair defenseman with the Hurricanes, you're probably a top four defenseman almost any other team. And Jalen Chatfield has proven that he is capable of playing top 4 minutes. And I think that he has a long-term future with this team, especially once Burnsy retires or hangs it up and goes elsewhere or maybe has a reduced role. Chatfield could have to step up into a greater role in the event of Brett Pesce being traded if that still happens, even though that looks a little bit less likely now. Other contributing factors to why I think that he is a great long-term fit for the Hurricanes, and he has started contributing some offense to his game. He's also gotten a lot better at joining the rush and carrying the puck to the blue line and distributing it on entry. He can also make excellent stretch passes. And while he doesn't have a whole lot of points to his name, a lot of the times that the Hurricanes have scored can be contributed to how good Jalen Chatfield's outlet passing ability and finding lanes are from the defensive zone and the neutral zone. And when he doesn't do that, he's gotten to where he can just skate it out himself. Out of everybody on the team last season, Jalen Chatfield was who impressed me the most, with how he improved everything that was already a strength in his toolkit and developing new aspects of his game. He had an incredible upward trend, and he showed absolutely no signs of slowing down at any point. There are certain things I think that Chatty does even better than Brett Pesce, and you guys know how much of a fan of Brett Pesce I am. But in the event Pesce does move, there's a viable replacement on standby with Jalen Chatfield. So, what are some things that Chatty can improve on? The biggest thing that he has to do is actually something that's almost across the board for the Hurricanes. Add some offense. Join the rush a little bit more often. Sneak in from the point a little bit more, generate more shots from the point. That shots through percentage because Chatty does have a pretty wicked shot. If he adds to his offensive skill set, add some desperately needed depth scoring for the Hurricanes, a depth power play option, an emergency power play option in the event that it's desperately needed. Guys get hurt, guys go cold, you got to change stuff up. I think Jalen Chatfield is getting to the point where he can be on the power play if needed. Out of all the defensemen on the Hurricanes, straightaway speed, Jalen Chatfield might be the fastest guy on the team out of all the blue liners, other than Tony DeAngelo and maybe Brady Shea. And the one thing I think that he can learn from those two in particular is how to add some offense to his game. I really feel like with Jalen Chatfield, you've already got an excellent two-way defenseman. If he adds a little bit of scoring, he's going to be even better. Another thing to keep in mind with Chatfield, with all the defensive depth that the Hurricanes do have currently on the active roster and in the prospect pool, there is a possibility somebody's still going to get moved. I think Jalen Chatfield's role on the team is about to increase. I think there's the potential there should he stay with the team long term. He could be the right-hand defenseman for Slavin. He could be the right-hand defenseman for Alex Nikishin. He's also shown that he's capable of playing his offside. And some other things I really like about this guy other than his game. If you have seen anything that he's been doing this offseason, his work ethic stands out on a team chock full of work ethic. He did an interview on 99.9 The Fan, and he showed just how much of a character guy he is. He brings a lot to the table on the ice, and he brings a lot to the locker room, and I can see why his teammates love him. And it looks like he's worked really hard this offseason to improve his strength, which is going to be great to add to all that already hard shot, the checking ability, the ability to be physical that he already has. He can amplify the things that he already does well, and he does a lot of things well. If he builds on the skill set of what he's best at and adds some offense, Jalen Chatfield is going to cement himself as a top 4 defenseman in the National Hockey League, hopefully with the Hurricanes. And one of my favorite things about Chatty, undrafted, unproven, untested, and last year he proved everything, and this is another big year for him, and I think he's going to prove a whole lot more. I think his numbers are going to improve across the board, and he's going to have the best season he's had yet, and he's going to earn the extra minutes that he's about to get. All in all, Chatfield is a very well-rounded two-way defenseman who just needs to add a little bit of scoring, and then maybe eventually he can start adding a lot of scoring, and he could eventually be another Brent Burns for this team. Now, also, I'm working on a video that actually breaks down Jalen Chatfield's game like I did with the Aho one that I did, where I'm actually going to take some video, point some stuff out, throw some graphics in there, and highlight some things and everything like that. I'm hoping to have that out in a couple of weeks. As far as this series goes, the next video out should be in a couple of days. That one will be about Michael Bunting. If you like this video, please hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share it, all that good YouTube stuff. Please consider donating to my channel with the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. And I hope you enjoyed. Y'all take care, and I will see you next time.